If you're seeing this video, that means you either 1, build the task tracker from scratch, or 2, you bought the task tracker from my shop. But I'm going to show you exactly how to use it. And don't worry, it's super simple. If you bought it from my shop, all you need to do is make a copy. So I'll click on make a copy. Then you can rename it whatever you want. So I can say Olan's tracker, for example, and then you'll default to this dashboard. Now, depending on what day you download this, right now it's defaulted to April. All you have to do is go to whatever month you want it to start in and then select the first of the month, and then you'll show the days for that specific month. And the calendar will update based off of whatever month you have. So for example, August 1st is on a Friday. That's why it's defaulting there. I'm going to go back to April since that's the month I'm filming. The biggest thing is make sure you click on the first of whatever month you choose, otherwise the days are going to be shifted and incorrect. Right here, it will default to however many tasks you have pending. Up top, it has nothing here, and that means that there are no tasks that have a deadline. Below, there's an NA, and that means that there are no tasks that don't have a deadline. And that's pulling from our task list. So let's go ahead and add a task. So I'm going to say unplanned, test 1. A timestamp will automatically appear under task added. I'll put not started always. Priority will be whatever you select. Let's go ahead and put a high priority. If you want to add a deadline, you can double click on it, and you can put 21, for example. A link, you can go ahead and add the link. And a pro tip, if the link is also in Google Sheets, you can put the @ symbol and then start typing out what you want, and it will link to whatever file and give you a nice little smart chip with a little overview. The task focus will be what area of your position this is correlated with. And I'll show you how to customize this in a second. We'll say increased efficiency. You can add any notes, which is just additional context that you need that doesn't really fit in this task list. And the value add is how this task brings value to the company, which is great for performance reviews and promotions. When you change a task to pending, it'll automatically add a timestamp under task started. And when you change the task to done, it will automatically add a timestamp under task completed and move entirely from this task list to the bottom of the done tab. The first time you do it, it may take a minute, but it should move automatically. So right here, we have the task list and everything's good. Under visualizations worksheet, this is the minimum date that's going to be included inside of our visualizations and our pivot tables. So if you start using this for a long time, you have your charts pretty overloaded, you can just double click on it, choose a future date, and that way it's showing a few months at a time instead of every single thing you've completed throughout the history. Your visualizations are right here, and those should be blank and give you an error message until you start having anything in your done tab. On your done tab, it will default to whether or not you met the deadline based off of the deadline you put right here, and it will automatically extract the week start based off of the task completed date. Since this is the Saturday I'm choosing, it's after that last Friday. That's why it's pulling the next Monday, but based off of Monday through Friday schedule, it will always default to the Monday prior. On our recurring tasks, we have all our different frequencies, and this will control which tasks are added on which days. I'll go over this in a second. For task type, you can change this to whatever you want. So by default, I just put general things that I use and revenue operations. Obviously, if you're in a different position, that will change. All you have to do is just type under it. So test, for example, and then when you do that, the task focus right here will adjust to whatever you need. And I have this going all the way down through the end. So if you need to have a whole bunch of different task types, feel free. All right, so let's say you want to have a daily recurring task like clean inbox or something that happens every single day. You'll put daily. The type will be recurring. Task list, clean inbox. Progress/status will be not started. Priority, recurring. If you want the deadline to be the day that you add it, you can put equals today, open parentheses, close parentheses, and it will automatically calculate the day based off of whatever day it currently is. If you want to have a link, you can add that link right there, and then whatever task focus. So let's say hygiene. Now, the first time you add a new task, you want to manually add a date right here. So I'm going to double click right here, and I'm going to put 18. So that way it automatically says it's been 1 day since. Now, right here, for the to add, this is what controls what's added and what's not. Only things that are marked as yes will be added. So last added daily, we have 1. Now 1 is greater than or equal to 1. So we should have a yes right here, not a no. The reason why we have a no is because I have it set where Sunday or Saturday is not included and it will be marked as no. That way we don't have tasks daily adding over the weekend. And today I'm filming on a Saturday. If I were to change this to Friday, for example, then it would show yes. So if I were to change this to today, it's going to say no because 0 is less than 1. But if I change this to any day prior to today, it will automatically keep yes. And then when the automation runs, it will be added to the bottom of my task list. The way this works is that it's going to look up the threshold that's needed based off of what day this is. So if I were to change this to weekly, for example, you can see that it now says no. And that's because the weekly day threshold is 7, and 2 days is not equal to 7. But if I were to change this to the 11th, for example, then it will automatically calculate yes. And if you want to change these thresholds to different days, different names, things like that, feel free to. Everything is a little bit different depending on your interpretation of it. So make it your own. All right, next thing you need to do is go to extensions, app script, and I'll have a video on how to customize this if you want to make any edits, add different columns, change names, different things like that. But for the time being, you don't need to know how this works. We're going to go to recurring tasks. And if you've seen one of my prior videos, With this new configuration, you only need one recurring task app script to handle everything. We're going to go here to triggers, add trigger, and we want this copy recurring tasks. We want the event source to be time driven. We want it to be every single day. And I'm going to go ahead and put 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. You can select whatever time slot you want. But what's going to happen when you press save is that it's going to run this recurring automation every single day between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. So that way, whenever you log in the morning, the tasks are already there waiting for you. You'll need to authorize it. The reason why I'm saying to authorize it is because Google has not sent it through its verification channels. And that's because it's user generated, but it's all good. Click on advanced, go to automated task tracker, and allow. This failure notification setting. So if you have no task to add, so if there's just no recurring task that you need to add that day, then it's going to send you an email saying that it was a fail. That's because there's nothing to add. But if there's any days that have a yes, you should be good to go. All right, so now that everything's enabled, I can click run and it will give me this completed message. And now you'll see the timestamp now says last added is equal to the 19th, which is today, the day I'm filming it. It's been 0 days since, and instead of yes, it now says no. On the task list though, we have our recurring task right here. We have not started, recurring, we have a deadline already there, and you can see that it converted the formula from the other sheet into the actual deadline here. And then we also have a task added timestamp right here showing exactly what time it was added. Now, if you want to go ahead and have it recurring, have a deadline, but you don't want it to be today. Let's say you want to have it 5-day buffer. All you have to do is just put today plus 5. And now you have a 5-day buffer, so it's automatically going to add that buffer in for you. And if you don't want a deadline, you can simply delete it. And when you do that, it will be blank on your task list. And all you have to do to add it later if you want to is just double click and select the new date. There's a counter up here that calculates how many tasks have been completed within 7 days of whatever date you have right here. So if I were to select the new date, it will change to 0 because nothing has happened yet. And then over here on the dashboard, it's going to show what the recurring task is. All right, on my task list, let's go ahead and add some more. So we'll say test 2. I'm going to go ahead and drag this formula down to get a couple of them. When you drag it, it may or may not add the task added. And that's because it doesn't necessarily know that that's supposed to be added. But every time you add it manually, it'll work. Whenever a task is added to your task list that you did not know about at the beginning of the week, you'll mark that as unplanned, not started, assign a priority. So let's say top, a deadline if it's necessary, and whatever task focus it is. I'm going to add a couple of randoms, put not started for everything. Now, when you try to drag this down using the fill handle, it will automatically update based off of the new number. But if you were to have multiple, then you can select 2 at once and then you can drag those down, no problem. But I'm going to go ahead and put medium, high, low, whatever, and then just pick a random thing right here. Cool. So now if I go back to my dashboard, you can see right here we have our different tasks. We only have one deadline, and that's for recurring, so that's 424. If I go down here, 424, it's showing right there. Then we can also see the completed task right here for the task that was completed that had the deadline of the 21st. And the way this works is it's going to prioritize based off of the due date, because even if you have a low task that's due tomorrow, it's still a top priority. And then based on that due date, it's going to prioritize based off of the priority. After you have your due dates, anything that's open is going to prioritize based off of the priority. And then you'll have a counter right here showing exactly how many tasks you have pending. Let's say you want to add some more due dates. Let's say the 23rd, let's say the 25th, let's say the 21st. So this is kind of in action. You can see right here, even though we have a low task, it has a due date in 2 days. So we need to make sure we are focusing on that. Let's go ahead and send some of these to our done tab. So now on our Done tab, we can see exactly which task we completed. Anything that says on time means you met the deadline. Anything that says overdue means you did not meet the deadline. And anything that's blank means that there was no deadline to complete. All right, then over here on the visualizations, it will automatically update. If you see something's missing for whatever reason, just click into the 3 dots right here, go to Edit Chart, and then Add Series. And this should give you everything you need. If you have one missing, then add it by simply clicking on it. One thing to note is if it's already there, it will be added twice. So don't do that, otherwise you'll skew your numbers. If you see something that's missing, go to this visualizations worksheet. So for example, if you had a whole bunch more task focuses, then it may try to bleed into the next pivot table. If it doesn't have enough room to execute, then it will stop and just be a little reference error. All you have to do is just add more rows right here and have a little bit more of a buffer. You don't need to see this, so you can go ahead and just right click on it and hit hide sheet. And then you'll have this grayed out version right here. So that way, if you need to get it again, just click on it, but you don't need to have it cluttering up your space. This combined list is what makes the dashboard possible. So it will combine every single one of your pending tasks on top of every single one of your completed tasks. And then it will create this little task summary for the calendar. Once again, you don't really need to see this, so you can go ahead and click hide sheet, but just wanted to let you know it's there. And then the parked tasks, whenever you mark a task as parked, it will move from this task list to the bottom of the parked tab. And then when you mark it as ready, it'll go back to the task list. If for some reason it's not showing up right here underneath the last task, that means you probably have a space or something right above where it is populating. So just select everything that is supposed to be blank, press delete, and that should solve the issue for you. When you're ready for the new week, all you have to do is double click on the weekly start date, change it to the Monday of the following week, and then change any unplanned tasks to planned. And that's all you have to do. You're ready for the new week. So that's how to use the task tracker. Let me know if you have any questions and like and comment for more.